moments after the big debate, Taylor Swift announcing she is voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. She also used her endorsement on Instagram to take a jab at Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance, signing the post "Childless Cat Lady." Joining us now, CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister. She has jumped into the political fray with no abandon here.
She has. And you know, this isn't the first time that Taylor Swift has entered the political fray. Back in 2020, she did endorse Biden and Harris. So this isn't a huge surprise. But the surprise, Sarah, is that Taylor made an endorsement at all. It seems that for months there has been endless speculation on whether Taylor, who of course is one of the biggest stars on the planet, would make this endorsement, and this is the biggest endorsement from a celebrity yet for the vice president. Now, earlier this morning on Fox News, Trump was asked about Taylor's endorsement. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
I actually like Mrs. Mahomes much better, if you want to know the truth. She's a big Trump fan. I was not a Taylor Swift fan. It was just a question of time. You couldn't possibly endorse Biden. You look at Biden, you couldn't possibly endorse him. But she's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it in the marketplace.
Now, when he says Brittany, he is referring to Brittany Mahomes, who is the wife of the football star Patrick Mahomes. She allegedly liked a post of Trump, so there's been a lot of chatter about that. And you see right there that Taylor and Brittany, who are good friends, they are hugging. They were at the U.S. Open having fun this past weekend. People made a big deal of that, but just like Taylor and Brittany, who are very famous in the real world, of course, Sarah, people have friends from all different walks of the political aisle.
I'm not sure she gives a rat's tail about potentially losing some fans, because that hasn't happened before and she's endorsed before, but we will see what happens in the future. Elizabeth Wagmeister, thank you so much for your reporting there.
Taylor Swift took to Instagram. She wrote this, quote, "I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them." She added, "I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who's been standing up for LGBTQ+ rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades." Last night, Donald Trump didn't shy away from his role in overturning Roe versus Wade.
What I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that.
Here was Harris making clear that she wants federal abortion rights protected federally once again.
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening.
All right, David Polyansky, I'm going to put you on the spot because you have a daughter who's a big Swiftie, so you probably know as much or more as anyone at this table.
I doubt that.
About just how people respond to her, but also as the Republican at the table. I'm really interested to know, do you think Taylor Swift stepping in and doing this is going to move votes, is going to make a difference?
Sure, 100%. You know, look, it was a great night for Democrats last night. There should be some celebration. It will last a day or two, and then this is going to get back to the race that we've seen, a very tight race, which last time was about an 11,000 vote difference in places like Georgia and Arizona. So the debate will impact and move voters. It'll help shape the narrative. An endorsement like this can really move the needle over the long haul, especially with younger voters, with voters that I think Bakari talked about earlier, people that she needs to motivate to get out and vote, and even if they are going to vote, to make sure they vote for her and have an enthusiasm about them. I think it was the biggest part of last night, to be honest.
One of the things that I thought was interesting, Bakari, about how she framed this was she said that she was voting for Harris. Many traditional endorsements, people will then say to their followers, supporters, people, you should vote for this person also. Taylor Swift didn't do that. She said in her endorsement, you do your research. You figure out who is the candidate for you. And by the way, you need to be registered to vote. She was clearly talking to a group of people who she realizes may not interact with the political process. It seems to me that if there is power here, it's in that. And I give her credit for taking the sort of hands-off approach instead of trying to tell people what to do.
You know, my 5.5-year-old twin, Sadie, she's going to listen to Bad Blood this morning while eating breakfast and have a little dance party before they go to school. Like, we listen to Taylor Swift every morning in our household. I also think that people aren't picking up on something else she did. Hillary Clinton in 2016 was "I'm with her," and she made the race more so about her, right? And not about the public at large. I mean, that's the biggest criticism of the Hillary Clinton race, as much as I love Madam Secretary. What Taylor Swift actually talked about was she didn't lean into the fact that Kamala Harris is going to be the first female president of the United States. She didn't lean into the fact that she's going to be the first black female president, et cetera, et cetera. She talked about the issues that mattered to her substantively, about things like reproductive rights and those freedoms. And so I think that gave, we're in such a permission structure as a community, as voters. I think it gave other women permission to say, look, you know what? I'm standing on these issues. I'm standing on them loudly and proudly the same way Taylor Swift did.
You know, a long time ago, in a galaxy far away, I wrote a book called The Power and the Glitter, which is a history of the relationship between Hollywood and politics going back to the 20s. And what I concluded was the main value that celebrities can bring to candidates.
Wasn't it?
You know, it was about Louis Mayer and Herbert Hoover going all the way back. But what celebrities do most of all is expand your communications bandwidth. They put you in front of voters who are not going to find you through the normal political channels. And as we were talking about before, as Bakari was mentioning, her challenge in many ways is to reach voters, younger, non-white voters in particular, who are not necessarily easily contacted through conventional political channels. And what Taylor Swift does is reach them through other means. And they will hear about the campaign, hear about her endorsement, hear about the need to register in a way that the debate itself, for example, was not going to reach all of those voters.
Watch the debate.
They probably did not watch the debate.
Although one of the things that she did really quite brilliantly is that she linked to vote.org, which is an organization that she has partnered with for years now.
And we've seen her impact on registration numbers when she has done this before.
100%. And one of the things that we know coming out of last night is that vote.org experienced a massive spike at 2 points. One, during the debate, when Kamala Harris was talking, she mentions this point. She says, register to vote, right? There's an immediate spike, and it's amongst that young demographic that she needs to win over. But two, when Taylor Swift comes out and says, hey, this is the choice that I'm making, and I'm couching it in a framework of optimism and joy and hope, that immediately triggers another spike. It also triggers a fundraising spike, which is deeply important for these larger implications.
And one of the things I saw last night, when that happened, I called Beyonce. I don't know if I have the right number.
Yeah, wait a minute.
And I was calling, and I said, I know it's late. Tell Jay, I said, what's happening, but we need your endorsement. So that's the next endorsement that I'm waiting on, and that might be why she has me blocked.
Yeah.
Could be.
They're waiting for the inauguration. That's when they'll come out.
Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Springsteen rally in Philadelphia in early November is going to be
It's going to be epic.
That's going to be epic.
I mean, I was at the one that Hillary Clinton tried to do at the end, and you could actually
With
tell
Katy
at that
Perry.
rally, which was a huge deal, big crowd or whatever, but somehow the energy was not, it sort of presaged what
She
ended
sent
up happening.
Beyonce to Cleveland and not to Detroit. That tells you everything you need to know about the Hillary Clinton 2016 campaign.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for being here.